Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Things Good podcast. I am your coach and your host, Giovanna Cirillo. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast that helps you with self-development, mental health, and helping you become the greatest version of yourself. I want to thank all my listeners for subscribing and constantly being committed to tuning in to every episode. You don't know how much I appreciate you. My listeners are all over the world, and I have yet to hear from you. So, if you are listening to this episode and you're still tuned in to my series, send an email to allthingsgoodcoaching@gmail.com. I want to hear from you. I want to know how your podcast has helped you and developed you and just help you to look at the brighter side of things, because that's what it's all about, looking at the things that are good. On another note, I have a new series titled The Homecoming. This series in particular is for women who have dealt with people pleasing, who have dealt with codependency, who have dealt with narcissistic relationships and are just looking to be set free. They're looking to come back home. And you're probably like, what do you mean come back home? Because we get so lost in titles. We get so lost in being everything to everyone else and forgetting about ourselves. And we get lost in the mix. So I want to help you. I want to coach you. I want to guide you along your journey to coming back home to yourself. Subscribe to that podcast. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be powerful, because let me tell you, it is time. It is time for you to break off and start putting you first. Subscribe to the Homecoming series. I'll go ahead and post a link for our women who are interested. If you are a business owner and you are looking to get your business seen, the link in the link tree where you can submit your request. And if your business aligns with the mission and the vision of All Things Good, then let's partner. Let's work, because I'm all about community. I'm all about building. I'm all about helping someone else just get exposure and just build, because we're all in this together. This is not just a one-man show. It's not all about me. On another note, if you are looking to be a guest on the podcast and your story, your business, your coaching platform, whatever you do, whatever you have going on in your life resonates with the vision and the mission of the podcast, submit the form, submit the request form. I want to hear your story. And most of all, the world wants to hear your story. Everyone has a piece of the puzzle. I say this to everyone that I interview for my guests. Everyone has a piece of the puzzle. I don't care where you are from. I don't care what religion. I don't care what background. I don't care. You have a piece of the puzzle that can help someone else break free from their situation. So today we have a lovely guest by the name of Lakesha Bryer. She went from hanging out on street corners, selling anything that wasn't nailed down, from being a victim of sexual assault to prison time, to being uneducated, and to top it all off, she had been diagnosed with depression. Her many troubles became her triumph. God showed her to love herself, find her worth, and led her to getting her diploma, 2 associate degrees, and being a role model to her 8 children and 5 grandchildren, and also a partner of 22 years. She is a business owner of Evolution Home Healthcare and is using her strength to give back. She has adopted strongly in being a servitude to others and by giving genuine love and care. Help me by welcoming Lakesha Bryer. Welcome, Lakesha. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing great. I was looking at your bio and I'm just like, wow, I'm ready to hear your story. And I can't wait for you to share it with the world.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yes. So, tell me exactly. Let's start with your story. You stated that you were in prison and you stole anything that wasn't nailed down. What do you think led you to that? And can you be like a little bit more descriptive? What exactly did you steal?
Um, Anything that was of monetary, anything that was money wise, I stole clothes. Sometimes it was food, but majority money.
Majority money. Wow. And so what was going on in your life? Like what exactly led you down that path?
Okay. Well, my mother, that's my best friend. But my mother had 6 of us. I was the oldest. Um, and being in poverty, and then seeing other things move around you, people having different things that you was not able to have, it made me want it. Not the fact that I wanted to not earn it, but because I couldn't, I was only a kid. I just wanted it. So whenever I seen it, that made me be able to get them things that I wanted, whether it was shoes, whether it was clothes, whether it was just having money in my pocket, I just took it.
Wow. So it was just the want for more because you were living in a place of lack.
Yes.
I
Yes,
can
ma'am.
understand that. I can understand that. So besides like wanting more, like was there anything in your mind? Was there anything in your emotion? Was there something going on at home that led you like down this path? Because it seems like it was almost like a path of anger. Like was there something that led from that?
Yes. Unfortunately, being raised in a household that was abusive, my father, I love my father, he's passed away, but he didn't treat my mother right. You know, my mother, she started having us young at a young age, and he left her with six of us. So, and I was the oldest. My daddy left when I was 10. So you could just imagine everyone how old everybody else was when he left us. Um, so basically seeing my mother struggle and not being able to get nothing until the first of the month, it kind of it put me in a mindset of um I wanted to be better, but my circumstances wouldn't allow me to be better. If that makes sense. So the only way I could figure out to be better was to get it and put this facade on. And I didn't have no loyalty. I didn't have no loyalty to my mama, my siblings, no one. If you had it and I wanted it, I took it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. Like just having that background where you didn't have someone to lead you in the right way, even when you tried.
And,
So,
and yeah, and it's like that. My mama only can do what she could do. You
right.
know, sometimes the peers had a say in it. The streets had a say in it. Seeing things that people had that my mama couldn't afford to give me, that was more that had more of influence on the what my mama tried to give me. My mama tried to do it the right way. But
Right.
to me at that time, it didn't make sense because I want them Jordans, or I wanted this, or I wasn't good enough. So if I couldn't earn it myself, if I seen it and I was able to take it without nobody knowing it was me, I did it.
Right. And I can imagine you wanted it now as kids. We're like, I don't want to wait until you get paid 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. I want
Yes.
it. So I can imagine just the mindset. So you mentioned that you were diagnosed with depression. At what age were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed with depression at age 18. They can't diagnose you with anything before then until you're 18 of age. And if it was anything that before then, it will only be like ADHD. They blamed it on hyperactivity because you wasn't of adult age. They wouldn't able to dig into my background as much. So I didn't get diagnosed with depression until I was 18, and that was the second time I tried to commit suicide. So once I had that, the second time I tried to commit suicide at 18, that's when I talked to a psychologist, and then he understood my background and he diagnosed me with depression. Well,
Wow,
clinical depression.
clinical depression. Okay, so now do you feel that the depression was a leading factor in your actions at that time?
Yes, because I've always had the mindset of having nice things. I just didn't have the wherewithal to put it of
Mhm.
knowing how I had to go get it. And then being around an environment when I seen my mother with six of us struggling and I seen my father not being there, I kind of took on that lead. So as a child, I couldn't earn money the right way. I could only earn it the way I can see fit to get it. So at that time, I just made that excuse to be able to do it. Like, okay, well, we need it. I'm gonna go get it. It didn't matter whether it was right or wrong. And then sometimes I took it from my mother. It just got to the point where it got so bad.
Wow. And so your relationship with your mother, you said she's your best friend.
That
How
was my
did she
best friend.
react during this time? I can imagine just her seeing your growth, you having a business now, and just how exactly did that begin to evolve as you began to grow up?
Well, when I went to prison for a year. I had at the time I had three kids and I was pregnant with my fourth. When I left my two daughters, that was the most hardest thing for me ever because as a woman, a young woman, I didn't want my daughters going through the same thing I went through. But I put myself in that situation where I had to be away from them for a whole year, and I couldn't handle nothing that they was going through. I couldn't be the one to feed them, couldn't bathe them, couldn't change them. When they cried, I couldn't be the one to sit up there and hold them and tell them it's going to be okay. So that took everything out of me.
Right, right. I can imagine because you were ultimately probably trying to do it for them as well, right? At one point,
Yes.
and it just became to a point where it's like the thing that you thought you were doing for them ended up taking away from them.
Exactly.
So what did shame begin to tell you? Because I can only imagine how, as a parent, we have a standard, or we look at standards that are around us. We look at other people who are in the same, position, or maybe the same age, and we try to compare ourselves and our level of parenting to other people. Was there any type of shame or embarrassment that was speaking to you during that time?
Um, I felt that when I had left my kids, it was the abandonment. Even though my mother had it hard with raising 6 kids and she raised us by the system, she never abandoned us. So it that alone, I don't know how to explain it, but that alone is when I started to realize the errors of my ways. And actually, the victim of the crime that I committed to, did it to, um, she started to bear weight on my heart too.
Can you tell us a little bit more of that situation? Do you feel comfortable with that?
Yes, and to be honest, I could never speak on this for years because I was so embarrassing, so embarrassed by it, and then going to jobs to explain that about my background. Oh my God! But yes,
This
so
is the situation that led you to be in prison, right?
yes, I was 18 and I had went to a lady's house. She was a candy lady, and it was me and two juveniles. They were juveniles, and I was 18. Well, the whole thing boils down to her property got stolen. We had stolen her property. Um, Then we did some things with her. We got her credit cards, used her credit cards at the mall. By the time I got back to the house, it was already reported to the police. The police had already been to my mother's house. My mother didn't know nothing about this illicit activities I was doing because I was in the streets trying to hide that from her. But that was my known address, so they didn't already visit my mama's house. When I got back to the house, the officer had already came and seen my mother and told her to tell me to call him, get in touch with him to give the property back, and he'll come out and meet me. So that's when I found out that he told me like, well, whatever you got, I'll come and meet you and bring it. But I got arrested at that time.
Mm.
Um, the day that I went to court, this is the day that everything really changed. The day I went to court, and this is how I wasn't really paying anything attention. I sat next to the victim and her son. I literally sat next to them. I didn't even pay her no attention that I didn't even know I was sitting next to the woman that I victimized. They
Um,
sat there. Mm.
okay.
The lady was 80, 70, or 80 years old. She had an oxygen tank. They sat there. She never had no ill will about what I did to her. She just asked her son, I don't know who it was. I don't understand how she was able to take from me. Like how she was able to take my check and cash it, how she was able to use my credit cards. And I sat there and I heard them talking. And when I tell you, if I could have melted in that seat, I would have melted in that seat.
Mm.
I would have melted. That's when God told me like that. And I looked at her vulnerability and what I made her a victim of. And I didn't even look at my mom. And then when I did it to her for years, it was this lady. And even to this day, I swear on my kids, like I wish I can always go back and apologize, but I can't because I'm pretty sure she's passed on. So I've made a mission, my mission, to make sure I give back and never take again.
Right.
I'm
Wow.
sorry, I do apologize. Because even to this day, still, this happened in 96. This happened in 96, and then I went to prison in 2001. No, my son was born in '02. I went to prison up in 2001. That was around the time when Timothy Thomas got killed in Cincinnati, Ohio. And that's when they had the undercover FBI agents come around and pick up felony warrants. I was one of them because when I committed the charge in 96, the judge had sympathy on me and he said, like, Lakesha, I need you to pay the restitution. This is what he told me that day when the state of Ohio said, stand up. And if I can just tell you how the look on that lady and her son face was, but I was so, it was like the walk of shame. And then to go up there, I cried so much in front of that judge, I'll never forget his name. His name was Patrick Dinkelaffer. He said, Miss Bryer, I understand being a young mother. And I told him why I did it and everything. He said, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you I'm gonna put you on probation and then I'm gonna give you restitution. He said, pay this money. Now, mind you, at this time, I'm still a young mother, uneducated. I don't have no money besides the once a month money they was giving out. And I had 3 kids.
Right.
So I had no money. So my thing in my head was like, you know what? As long as I stay out of trouble, I stay out that way, I'll be okay. I was already trying to atone for my mistake. It didn't happen like that. I wound up getting caught up in the after the riot when they came around and got felony warrants. I wound up being caught up in it. They came and got me. That was the last time I seen my daughters for a year.
Wow. Wow. Wow, Lakesha, that is amazing. I mean, I say amazing because I look at the change and the transformation that that you went through just in that very moment. Sometimes it takes years, it takes like even more situations to happen, but it was the conviction and just the compassion for the victim that led you to say, I can't do this again. Like this has to be my turnaround time.
Exactly.
And just seeing that, and then just it was like there was grace all in your situation, all in your story, because the lady, she didn't have any ill will for you. The judge, he was compassionate towards you. He just wanted you to pay your fees. And then it was just, it's an amazing story to me. Like, I feel like that is just beautiful to see the change and transformation instantaneously. So, how did you begin to heal your shame, and how did you become the person that you are today with your business and with your associate's degrees?
Okay. So when I came home, my thing was I was already in poverty. So I had to figure out how to be able to build from that. It didn't happen overnight, as you can tell, because I still had a record. So what I did was when I came home, I was on parole, I believe, for like 4 years. I stayed clean for 4 years. After I got off parole, I started to get my record clean. Like I was able to let me see, when they started doing, I had to be off of papers for like 7, 8 years in order for it to be even eligible for sealment. And actually I got it sealed by the same judge because it
Wow.
was so long. He was like, oh my God, Miss Bryer, you're back, but you ain't did nothing in 7 years. So he gave me that. So it gave me another life, I was able to leave my past behind me and build off my new life. So
Right.
then after the fact that I had a clean record, I started to I still didn't have an education yet. Now we ain't got to that point. I didn't have a high school diploma, which was my hindrance out here. Um, so what I did was look at my kids, look at them little faces and them little hands that needed me to be able to do better. I started opening up doors that I never thought that I would be able to walk through because I didn't think I was good enough. So I started to educate myself more better. I started to take care of myself mentally wise. And the more I did them things, the more the potential that God had already stowed in me started to come out. So
Right.
when evolution became about, we were homeless. We was in a hotel for 2 years, and I was under another umbrella, another company I was taking care of. I never forget her name. Her name is Miss Peggy, and she said, well, "Why don't you just start your own company?" And I was like, "Well, that is a good idea." Then now by this time, I've already been doing it for years. So I went home. I went to the hotel, and it was a piece of paper on the nightstand, and I wrote. I had went to sleep, woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. My company name came into my head. I woke up, wrote it on a piece of paper on the bedstand, and I went back to sleep. And then the next day, literally, I had applied for my company to be registered with the state of Ohio, and it has been registered, and I've been building off of it since then. When COVID came about, I had wound up going to school to get my high school diploma. I didn't stop there. Once I got my high school diploma, it was like it was on and go. I was on. So then I went to school for 2 more years to get my associate degree in medical code and billing. Then I went again and got my associate degree in healthcare technology. And
Wow.
and then from then I've out and then being a mother to 8 kids. Out of my 8 kids, 6 of them have their high school diploma. I'm only working on my last two. I've made education the forefront of my household because without it, you can't do nothing with it. Well, you can't do nothing out here. Let me just say that. I do apologize.
Right.
So I made that the I don't know. I don't know. I can't even explain it. I do apologize, but I'm just trying to explain to it as when you want something different, you take different steps. You take
Right.
different doorways. Let me just say, I got off of that one narrow road of being selfish and wanting things that I didn't earn to going on this broad road of having to do a lot more to get the things I needed to earn, and it's mine, and no one can take that from me. And
Right.
in the process of me doing that, I was giving back. Like it's so many people that I've taken care of under the umbrella of other people's companies that they love me. I have gained family members from different nationalities because of the love I bring. And I've never got into it for money. This field was never got into it for money. It got into it for my victim. She was an older lady. And when I did that to her, that was me atoning for my sins. So ever since then, and I've loved it. I love it. And it's like, I don't know if she was praying for me at that time because sitting next to her, she never once said nothing mean about me. And I took from her. She never said anything. She actually, it's like she was praying and opening up them doorways. And that judge sat there and he seen me come in front of him being a young Black woman, no education, all these kids on the system, but he seen something in me. He knew it was there. He just didn't know how to pull it out, but he allowed me to be able to do it on my own. So he gave me the tools I needed and I utilized that. And this is why I'm sitting in front of you today.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now I know that in the process of this and you getting your education, putting that in the forefront, you went from a victim to the person to the overcomer, is what it sounds like to me. But
Yes,
in that process, I know that you had to go through a place of forgiving yourself. Tell me
yeah.
what that was like for you. Like, how long do you felt like it took? How long did you feel it took for you to actually say, you know what, I have to go from the place of victimhood to the place of overcoming. Like, how was that transition for you?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy and it took a long time. Because I first had to find out my worth. I never knew what I was worth. Because if I did then, I wouldn't have committed the crimes I was doing.
Right.
It took me years to figure out I was worth more than I was giving myself credit for. Once I realized that I was worth more than that, that's when I was able to walk in certain doors that I would have never thought I could walk into or was good enough to walk into. Now that I feel that I could be in any room, you could be a millionaire and I can only have $5 in my pocket, but that don't make you no better than me. You're
Right.
just another human being. But my genuineness, you can't never pay for that.
Right. Right.
So I had to learn how to not look at people just for the monetary or the materialistic. I look at the soul of a person, and I had to look at my soul. And God started telling me, "You are worthy. Stop belittling yourself. Stop acting like you're not worthy more than just like anybody else." I had to start believing in myself. And then my kids is another reason. When you a mother, you can't just sit there and just, okay, well, I'm just gonna stop because no, that's not how a mother works. A mother continues to keep striving for the best because you want the best for your kids. My
Right.
mother wanted to strive for the best for us, but her kids, but she was only had so much of a limit. I didn't have that. God gave me things that I was able to walk into only because I believed that I could.
Right.
Without that belief, I wouldn't have been able to do nothing.
I love that. Belief is a key role to
Yes, it is.
achieving the thing that you want the most.
Yes, it is.
And like you said, you had to believe in yourself enough to say, I can do this despite of what everything else looks like around you,
Yes, ma'am.
despite of the narratives that were told, despite your history,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
are determined. And to me, that's amazing because I want our listeners to know that when you're in this place of shame, it will continue to knock on your door.
Yes, it will.
You have to stop answering. You
There
have
it
to
is.
come to a place of accepting and really just start saying, I did what I did.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I did what I did. And there is a power in accountability.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
taking that accountability to say, this is what it was, and there's nothing I can do to change the past, but I
Yes.
can do something to change my future.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I love that you did. You were like, you know what? I did this. Okay. But I'm going to change this because I did this.
Yes, ma'am.
Change the narrative, not just for me, but for my kids and my grandchildren.
Yes, ma'am.
That is just empowering. I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's why I agreed to be able to tell my story, because I know there's going to be a mother that's going to, or a father, or anyone that's going to need to hear it. And they're going to need to know that there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You just got to be willing to go to the end of the rainbow. Don't let one door close and think that that's the only door left. No, I don't care if it's 10 doors down the line. If one closes, you go down to the other 9, because one of them doors are going to open. But
Exactly.
only thing that's going to stop you, or it's going to be you. I didn't realize that until after I had to go through my trials, all my trials, and then I started to realize, like, wait a minute, I am the dictator of my own faith, my own because God said, whatever you want, I give it to you.
Right.
You just have to believe that I'm gonna give it to you, and I'm gonna open every door for you, and stuff will fall out for you. And it has been doing that for me. Sometimes I'm still in awe of the things that comes my way, because I'm like, oh my God, this is for me. Oh,
Love
but I'm so humble. I am so humble, and I am so thankful that He found favor in me for me to turn myself around, because I can turn my 8 kids around on top of them turning their kids around. You have to break the cycle. If you don't break that cycle, no matter what happens, you are not only failing, forget myself. I'm not going to fail my kids. I'm not going to fail my generation that's going to be coming behind me when I'm already gone from this earth. It starts with me, but it doesn't end with me.
right. Right. Ah, so good, Lakeisha. So good.
Thank
So,
you.
if you could tell our listeners one piece of advice today that would begin to shift their lives, their mindsets, and help them come out of shame, what would you say to them?
What you mentioned earlier is accountability. Whatever it is in your life that's going on, do not take and blame on someone else. If it is yours, you own it. Because when you own it, you know what to do about it to get over it. But as long as you try to push it away as if it's not yours, then you're going to continue to keep living with that. I had to own the fact that I did that to that lady in order for me to progress to be what I am now. If I didn't own that, I still would have been living in that shadow of being ashamed. I'm not ashamed of anything no more that I did, because I know what I'm doing now.
Right.
But I had to own the fact that I went in her house. I took from her, no matter how much it made me hurt. I still had to hurt in order to heal.
Right.
So that's the only thing I can tell somebody is, don't you stop. If you want to do better, if you want to go places, don't you stop reaching for it. You can get there, but you cannot stop. Because as soon as you stop, everything stop moving. The wheel only turn because you turn it. And the world gonna keep going on, whether you like what's going on around you or not. The only thing you can control is you and yours around you. That's it.
That's it. Ah, wow, Lakeisha, it's such an amazing and empowering story how you took your past and you completely changed the narrative of your life
Yes,
and
ma'am.
business. Tell us about your business. How can our listeners find you? How can they partner with you? Tell us more about that.
Okay. Now, because of I told you, because of the victim of the crime, and because she was older, she had got me into my passion. She made me find my passion, which is being in servitude to others. So, what my business is, it's a home health agency. We go to people's homes to make them being able to stay in their homes. We help them with their ADLs, which is their activities of daily living. I was open before COVID. Now, when COVID happened, of course, everything that got disarrayed, was nothing nowhere. So now what I'm doing, because God said, hold on, it's something else I want you to do. So what I'm doing now is trying to build an empire. It's called Evolution Homes. What I'm trying to do now is house veterans. I want houses for ailing veterans and then able-bodied veterans. One thing I do feel, as far as with this world, our vulnerable our populations are our elderly, our kids, and our disabled. And that sometimes don't mean physically, it could be mentally.
Right.
And I believe that with the veterans, the reason why I want to do that is because some of like I feel when you selfishly give something of yourself for somebody else you don't know, nobody, you don't know nothing about them. You done left all of yours to go protect something. And for you not to come home and be made to feel whole as if you are wanted and that love, I feel there's a problem with that. So what I'm trying to do with evolution is take that to a different level in a home environment. Because like I told you, my son, his accident in March, when he got hit by the car, I'm still taking care of my son. You know, it was very unorthodox for the doctors. They was like, who takes their loved ones from the ICU unit to home? 9 times out of 10, a loved one in an accident like my son goes from there to a rehab. I brought my son home with me. I still have my son home with me, even though he was supposed to get his skull back in. I had to give him intravenous antibiotics, and I got to give him orally. The doctors and them apologized to me. They was like, I didn't mean to give you no pushback. We wasn't doing it like that. It's just not usual that people will take their family members from them type of predicaments at home. And he's doing so good. He's walking, he's talking.
So amazing.
He's doing everything he's supposed to do. And I also have my son to know, I raise my kids. Don't you ever in your life have a grudge. Don't you be mad about something that God bestowed on you. What you do is you stand up. You stand 10 toes down out here and you keep it pushing. Nothing. Like, and my son want to be a police officer, and I'm going to help him get to that dream. On top of me trying to do my company. And, you know, your vision that you have, a lot of people don't have that vision. You know, right. I don't have the people that want to say, you know what, your vision sounds so great. Let me help you with this. It seems like this world is so self-centered.
Right. Yeah, everyone is typically out to just do their own thing, but the right people and the right connections will get you to the right place. It's already been happening for you. So it's a matter of time before your business begins to take off and help others the way that you desire to help them. So yes. How can we find you? Do you have a social media handle? How can we connect with you?
To be honest, the only thing I have now is, because I'm still building everything, it's just a me thing right now. I have a Facebook page, but I'm vetting that still right now. I do have a company email at LA Evolution Home healthcareinc.com. It's through GoDaddy. I do have a website on there too. So It's just me building these small components to get everything up and running. I also have a campaign I'm running because of the me trying to build and house these veterans. Like right now, this is something that's really needed. And I can't do it. I'm working off of small amount of money because my son was in the accident. I'm not even working. I just had to go back out and get me a job. So you could just imagine when you're in a 6-bedroom house, you have 8 kids, 4 grandkids, and you have not been able to work for 3 months. You can imagine what I am facing. But I'm going to face it with a smile. I'm going to face it head on, and I'm going to get it done. God say you ask, and I will receive it. Whether somebody help me or not, I'm going to get to where I need to be at because I'm not going to stop.
That's right. So if you are listening and her story has touched you, her vision, her purpose has touched you, I'm going to go ahead and put the link into the description so that you can sew into the vision, sew into the campaign for the veterans, because it's not just a one-person show. It's so funny because I said this at the beginning of the introduction. We are all here to help each other. It's not just about one person, about one thing. We all have a piece of the puzzle.
Yes, ma'am.
That understanding, like when you give and you sow into something that God is in, whether you believe in God or not, when you sow into something that is making a difference in this world, you will reap the benefits of that. And so I want you to not just do it because of the reaping, but because it's touched your heart and you're making a difference in someone's lives.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Lakesha. This has truly been a blessing, and I know our listeners will be blessed to hear it.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Anytime.
Thank you so much. You have a good night, okay?
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
What an amazing, impactful story. God was in that from the very beginning. Even if she may not have seen it, there was so much grace and so much favor in that situation. And right now, she doesn't even look like her past. She's going for everything that she wants. She's not taking it by force. She's not stealing from people. She's actually creating her life. She's creating the path that she knows that she is called to. If this doesn't touch your heart, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you need to check yourself. You really do. But until next time, I'm your coach and your host, Giovanna Cirillo. Talk to you later.